In today's Money Bombs and War Chest segment, when it comes to political campaigns, who's funding what and where's all that money coming from?
Yeah, we expect to see more money spent on this campaign cycle than we've seen in all the previous campaign cycles, and you'd expect that with trends. The Koch brothers saying that they have 5 GOP candidates identified in the primaries that they're taking a close look at now, the so-called Koch 5. Not only the GOP candidates courting mega donors right now, even billionaire Donald Trump has a super PAC, and here's a little look into the guy behind this particular super PAC.
Look at that.
There you go. That was an ad for Palm Beach area retailer Elegante Polo, which is not far from Trump's Mar-a-Lago Beach Resort in Palm Beach. The store outfits customers with polo attire, also very popular in the area. The store's owner says Trump, a business leader, would actually be the best person to run the country based on his business experience. Trump just found out about this super PAC. He says he's greatly honored by it. That PAC, not the Polo store commercial, which we just played, he's honored by the PAC. But what it does say about our political system, I think, Miranda, is that almost anybody now can start a PAC, and you can then get people to support your PAC, and then you can put your voice behind certain issues and get those issues out there in the public awareness. We'll talk about them a little bit. And I think there's some validity to this, at least having somebody in the conversation like Donald Trump who will talk about business issues. So much now we talk about these foreign policy issues, but historically elections have always been decided by how someone feels about their pocketbook or what's in their wallet right now. And I don't think we get enough attention paid to issues like tax reform and things like that on the campaign trail. Not saying that Donald Trump would win the primary, but his voice certainly adds something to those debates.
I think there'd be a lot of people getting fired. Sorry, I had to go there.
Nice.
Had to,
Nice.
had to set that up. Okay, there's a pro-Chris Christie super PAC. The group America Leads has several donors, including billionaire hedge fund manager Stephen Cohen, a longtime Christie supporter. Many have pledged $250,000 each to the PAC. That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. Not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things when you think about how much money is going to be spent on this race. We're hearing predictions of $2 billion.
But it's so sad because you can think about how many kids could go to college with that money.
Well, you can say the same thing.
The VA could be fixed with that money.
That's very true and a good point. We talked about this too, Miranda. When you look about how much money is spent on campaigns in this country, it is overwhelming to a lot of folks, but not when you compare it to the other things that we spend so much money on in this country, including our cell phone bills, our cable, our potato chips, our window treatments. There's a list, and some folks
But there's
compile
a big difference between a bag of potato chips and $250,000 each going to one particular candidate. I mean, I feel like there should be limits.
Well, think about how many kids we could send to school if we didn't buy potato chips. It's billions of dollars a year that Americans spend on this stuff. So you have to put everything in perspective and compare it to where our priorities really are.
All right, well, we talked about Trump. We talked about Christie. Let's talk about Senator Ted Cruz. His surprise Senate victory in 2012 showed he knows how to fundraise, especially online. The question, though, is whether he can raise enough to be competitive against establishment candidates. Lucky for Cruz, a new report claims, are you ready for this, John, $31 million will be pledged to support his candidacy. The funds coming from a cluster of 4 super PACs. So who's behind the money? Well, it's Robert Mercer. Not ringing a bell?
I think there's an interesting juxtaposition here you can make between Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton. As good as you would think Hillary Clinton would be on the campaign trail, she's had her difficulties, let's just say. Ted Cruz would be dismissed by a lot of folks. He's a better candidate than a lot of people realize, especially what he's done this election cycle.
Well, he has more of a stage presence. Let's be honest. The burrito didn't do it for you.
Well, even going back, I mean, he was underestimated during the Senate race back in 2010. Don't sleep on Ted Cruz. I've said this during this process. He's going to have a very large voice in this entire.
Well, Robert Mercer is a big fan because he alone was the 4th largest individual donor in the 2014 election. So a huge get for Cruz there.
It certainly will. We got more coming up here in the second hour of Newsmax Now. We're going to be joined with Ed Berliner. We're also going to talk with Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter Judy Miller about her new book and what else is going on in the Middle East. And we'll talk about this issue right here with Johar Tsarnaev and the middle finger and his attitude that he's showing while he awaits his life or death sentence. All that coming up.